Scout. One less now.
I mean, I think there's some big buckets of categories of things that we've improved in Mass Effect 2 over Mass Effect 1. We listen to the fan feedback, listen to press feedback, listen to internal feedback, and the teams just pour their hearts and souls into this to make this the best game yet from BioWare. So they focused on the shooter aspects of the gameplay, just the combat, just intensity, tactical moment-to-moment controls on your team, and pinpoint accuracy on the field, and really smooth frame rate. So players are going to really enjoy the tactical aspect of the game, and the strategies there too. This is an RPG. At the same time as a shooter, it's also a rich role-playing game with lots of exploration, customization, progression, and it's just really fun across the board.
So, what can I do for you?
So, you must know what's what on Omega.
Everything that's worth knowing.
Now, Mass Effect 2, to be clear, it's a standalone experience. You don't have to play the first game to have an amazing time in Mass Effect 2. You get an introduction, you get all the context, tutorials, and everything is kind of brought up right up to speed. We make certain assumptions about what you did and didn't do.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner.
Depending on who you bring with you into battles is going to have a material difference in the outcome as well. So you really have to choose your squad mates carefully. In fact, if you try a scenario again before you go to an uncharted world, say, to have some combat, and you try different companion characters with all different abilities between them, you might survive or you might not. So you have to really think carefully about that. There's biotic powers, there's tech abilities, there's different kinds of ammo and weaponry, and even those will have a big impact. The game overall is just incredibly rich and deep and intense, and I think shooter fans are going to love it, RPG fans are going to love it. Moment to moment, you can deploy your squad on the battlefield independently from one another, so you can actually set up a flanking attack if you want, and kind of have one of your squad mates unleash hell basically on the enemies with biotic abilities and pull them in the air, and the other ones can then fire the heavy weapons on them from the side. So it's got something for everybody. Well, exploration is a really important part of a lot of games. RPGs, obviously, it's a big part of the gameplay. So we have a galaxy map where you can explore uncharted worlds, and you can use your travel around in your ship. There's a fuel, so you have to make choices about how far you're going to go and so on. There's also a really cool planetary mining game where you gather resources, and that's integrated into the customization progression system. So you have basically upgrades and research you can undertake on your ship on the Normandy, and use resources that you gather in your exploration in between awesome battles and progressing through the great story arc to help advance your characters. Yeah, so the loyalty system with your companion characters, just like in real life, you can have friends, you can have enemies, you can have people that are kind of ambivalent or neutral. That's the way your companion characters view you. If you do things for them, if you do the right things for them, and you support them in what they want to achieve as you progress through the main story arc, and take on some of the optional content, some of the things that might seem to be not necessarily essential for the game, they'll actually improve your odds of survival. And you'll actually want to replay this game, because the end of the game is going to be very different depending on who you've actually managed to bring alongside you and who's on your team when you go to the final mission. So it's up to you to discover all the different possibilities, permutations, and so on in the end game. And I think players are going to have a lot of fun sharing those amongst themselves and just seeing how different the outcomes can be. Well, we haven't announced the downloadable content yet for Mass Effect 2, but we are planning some. We know the fans love it. We're getting a lot of experience building it now in Dragon Age Origins, so we're looking forward to delivering more on Mass Effect 2, and we'll have more details on that shortly. We're co-developing Mass Effect 2 for both 360 and PC. So unlike in Mass Effect 1, where we actually ported over the game to PC a little bit later, where, of course, we're always trying to make each game better than the last at BioWare, so we're always trying to add improvements. This game, it's basically the same great, awesome experience start to finish on both 360 and PC. Obviously, the controls have been lovingly hand-adapted for every platform, make sure that they're really just the optimal experience, both for console players and for PC fans. I think Mass Effect 2 is just going to be an over-the-top, amazingly intense experience. It's just going to pull you along. The fidelity is amazing. The shooter aspects are over the top. The RPG aspects are definitely there. It's got depth and richness. So fans of BioWare's games of the past and also shooter fans are going to really enjoy Mass Effect 2. It's coming out January 26th on Xbox 360 and PC. And enjoy.
Now who's the badass biotic, bitch?